about recovery that I hope that you'll take away is today it's a very much a multifaceted existence. I think one of the things that I've put up on the display is the Substance Abuse Mental Health Services Administration has put forward that they're the national federal organization related to substance abuse, addiction, treatment, and recovery. And they put forth 12 guiding principles of recovery. The first, that there are many pathways to recovery, which is what I said, that's one of the wonderful things today. That recovery is self-directed and empowering. Recovery involves a personal recognition of the need for change and transformation. That recovery is holistic. That recovery has cultural dimensions in very, very amazing ways. And recovery exists on a continuum of improved health and wellness. Recovery is supported by peers and allies. Recovery emerges from hope and gratitude. Recovery involves a process of healing and self-redefinition. Recovery involves addressing discrimination and transcending shame and stigma. Recovery involves rejoining and rebuilding a life in the community, and recovery is a reality. It can, will, and does happen. And we have several examples of that today. I think historically, a recovery, from my perspective, has been disconnected from the addiction continuum of care. For such a long time, we have addressed addiction treatment on an acute care model. We pretty much have just focused on getting people stabilized, sober, and then once they're stabilized, they've gotten through their addiction phase, then we have historically sent them off to 12-step groups and essentially severed the service relationship. That's worked. There are certainly, and I'm a person who attends 12-step meetings, and certainly am a fan of those, but they don't work for everybody. One of the things one of the statistics that I quote quite a bit today is that in the United States today, there are between 23 and 25 million Americans who identify themselves as being in recovery. 12-step groups, AA, NA, CA, GA, Al-Anon, Nar-Anon, only identify about 8 million members total between those constituencies. And so there's an awful lot of people out there like us that don't necessarily go to 12-step groups, but are still in long-term recovery. And part of the problem from that acute care model that we have been is that when those people cycle through, the ones who don't get into 12-step groups or stay in recovery cycle right back through within anywhere from 2 to 3 years back through the treatment regimen. So I think part of the movement today is to really intentionally connect recovery and make it a full partner of the continuum of care. And one of those pieces that the Indiana Addictions Issues Coalition was delighted to receive was a grant from the Substance Abuse Mental Health Services Administration to train 150 recovery coaches in the state of Indiana over a 3-year period. These recovery coaches are paraprofessionals that are part of that new continuum of care of recovery meant to be married to the treatment side of things. Recovery coaches are people who are already in recovery. We ask that they have at least a year of continuous recovery. But the curriculum that we put them through is an evidence-based curriculum that has a lot of counseling techniques, motivational interviewing. So it's an evidence-based curriculum. They go through a 5-day, 8 to 5 training, and then there are additional training which are paid for by our grant, and then they have to take several additional 1-day trainings on ethics and trauma and that type of thing. And then there's a certification exam that they go through. We're in the process right now of trying to work with the state on being sure that reimbursement will be available for that. And so far, in the 2 years that we've had the grant, we've trained 124. So we still have another year to finish that out, but we may even be over a little bit on 150 for that. So I think so today I've been through the training myself. In fact, in the work that what kind of led us to this direction was that I had been associated with an organization a number of years ago. After our son died, my wife and I were recruited, so to speak, by the Partnership for a Drug-Free America. It's a organization that works with substance abuse issues. Most people don't recognize the name, but they do recognize they were the first ones to do public service messages about addiction. And so, in fact, their original public service message has become iconic. It's the egg in the frying pan. This is your brain on drugs, that many of you will remember. They were the first ones to offer a parent coaching curriculum, evidence-based curriculum, and so that puts through this evidence-based practice, and now we maintain a hotline that we all serve on to talk with parents who struggle with addiction. So when this opportunity to have this paraprofessional recovery coach came up, which frankly is in fairly good use on the East Coast and West Coast and kind of through the northern tier of Hazelden and the Minnesota model up there. I was very attracted to this, and one of the reasons why we were so excited to get the grant and work through it. So we've got several graduates of our recovery coach situation, and they're at various stages in their coach and working in certain situations. So we wanted to give you a little feel for their personal experiences. So they'll talk a little bit about their own recovery story and kind